Story 1. The Haunting of Mercywood Hospital. In the heart of a small, decaying town named Mercyville, there stood an ominous building that cast a shadow over the entire community, Mercywood Hospital. Once a place of healing and hope, it had long been abandoned, left to decay and crumble under the weight of its dark history. The hospital's origins were shrouded in mystery. Some said it was built on ancient burial grounds, while others whispered about experiments gone awry in its underground laboratories. Regardless of the truth, one thing was certain. Mercywood was a place that held secrets, and those secrets were not meant to be unearthed. It was a moonless night when 4 adventurous teenagers gathered around a flickering campfire. Mark, Sarah, Ben, and Lisa had grown up hearing tales of Mercywood Hospital's haunted past. On this particular night, fueled by bravado and teenage curiosity, they made a pact to explore the abandoned hospital. Armed with flashlights, the quartet approached the decaying building. Its windows were shattered, and the once white walls were now stained with the passage of time. The air grew colder as they ventured deeper into the hospital's dark corridors. As the group delved further into the hospital's labyrinthine halls, they began to hear faint whispers. At first, they dismissed it as their imagination running wild, but the voices grew louder and more distinct. It was as though the very walls of Mercywood were speaking to them, recounting tales of suffering and despair. The whispers led them to a room at the end of a dimly lit hallway. Inside, they discovered a journal, its pages filled with the rantings of a former patient. The words spoke of experiments, pain, and a presence that lurked in the shadows. It was a story of torment and madness. As the teenagers continued their exploration, they felt an eerie presence that seemed to follow them, unseen yet undeniably present. It whispered their names, and their flashlights flickered in response. Panic set in, but they couldn't find their way back through the labyrinth of hallways that seemed to shift and change around them. The haunting intensified as the night wore on. The group encountered ghostly apparitions of long-deceased doctors and nurses, their eyes filled with sorrow and regret. Shadows danced on the walls, and disembodied voices echoed through the empty corridors. In the depths of Mercywood Hospital, the teenagers stumbled upon a hidden chamber. Within its walls, they found a collection of preserved organs, jars filled with grotesque specimens, and chilling medical instruments. It was a gruesome sight that confirmed the rumors of sinister experiments conducted within these walls. Desperation drove the teens to find a way out. They raced through the shifting maze of corridors, pursued by the malevolent presence that seemed determined to keep them trapped. Just when they thought they were doomed, they stumbled upon a door leading to the rooftop. On the rooftop, under the pale light of the moon, the group made a horrifying discovery. Mark, Sarah, Ben, and Lisa were not alone. A malevolent entity born from the hospital's dark history manifested before them. It was a grotesque amalgamation of tortured souls seeking revenge for the atrocities committed within Mercywood's walls. In a desperate bid to save themselves, the teenagers offered the journal they had found as a token of appeasement. The entity seemed to accept their offering and slowly dissipated into the night, leaving the 4 friends shaken and traumatized. As dawn broke and they emerged from the forsaken hospital, the teenagers knew they had narrowly escaped a fate worse than death. Mercywood Hospital held on to its secrets, but it had delivered a warning. Some mysteries were better left unsolved, and some places were better left abandoned. Years passed, but the memories of that harrowing night haunted them. The whispers, the apparitions, and the malevolent entity were etched into their souls, a reminder that some horrors were all too real. And so, Mercywood Hospital remained a dark and forbidding presence in the town of Mercyville, a place where the boundary between the living and the dead blurred, and where the past continued to cast its long shadow over the present. Years passed, and the teenagers grew into adults, but the memories of Mercywood Hospital refused to fade. They had tried to move on with their lives, but the weight of their shared secret bound them together. Nightmares plagued their sleep, and they would often wake up in a cold sweat, hearing whispers in the darkness. One day, a renowned paranormal investigator named Dr. Jonathan Black arrived in Mercyville. He had heard the rumors surrounding Mercywood Hospital and was drawn to the town by the lingering supernatural presence. Dr. Black was determined to uncover the truth behind the hospital's malevolent history. Dr. Black's investigation led him to Mark, Sarah, Ben, and Lisa. Reluctantly, they agreed to accompany him back to the abandoned hospital, hoping to put an end to the nightmares that had plagued them for so long. They entered Mercywood once more, their hearts heavy with dread. As they ventured deeper into the decaying building, the malevolent presence that had tormented them before began to stir once more. The whispers returned, more insistent and menacing than ever. Dr. Black's equipment went haywire, and he struggled to maintain his composure. In the heart of the hospital, they encountered the entity once again. It had grown stronger, feeding on their fear and despair. Dr. Black attempted to communicate with the spirit, seeking to understand its torment and offer it release. The entity's story unfolded, revealing a tale of suffering and cruelty that dated back to the hospital's darkest days. It had been a patient, subjected to inhumane experiments in the name of science. Its anger and pain had festered over the years, binding it to Mercywood's cursed halls. Dr. Black, with the help of Mark, Sarah, Ben, and Lisa, conducted a ritual to free the tormented spirit from its earthly shackles. It was a risky endeavor, fraught with danger, but they were determined to put an end to the malevolent presence once and for all. As the ritual reached its climax, the entity's form twisted and contorted, writhing in agony. With a deafening scream, it dissipated into a swirling vortex of darkness and light. The hospital trembled, and for a moment it seemed as if the very fabric of reality was tearing apart. When the dust settled, Mercywood Hospital was no longer haunted. The malevolent presence had been banished, and a sense of peace descended upon the forsaken building. Dr. Black, Mark, Sarah, Ben, and Lisa had confronted their fears and put an end to the hospital's curse. With the haunting finally over, Mercyville could begin to heal. The town decided to demolish the decaying hospital, erasing its dark history from the physical world. The nightmares that had plagued the four friends began to fade, replaced by a sense of closure and redemption. As the sun set on Mercywood Hospital one last time, it marked the end of a chapter in the town's history. The secrets of the past were buried, and the town of Mercyville could finally rest in peace, knowing that the malevolent presence that had haunted them for so long was gone forever. Story 2: The Curse of Blackwood Mansion. Echoes of Despair. In the small, secluded town of Blackwood, nestled deep within the dark and mysterious woods of New England, an eerie fog rolled in every night like a shroud, concealing secrets that had haunted the town for generations. It was a place where whispers of strange occurrences were passed down from one generation to the next, and where the old-timers spoke of an ancient curse that hung over their heads like a pall. At the heart of Blackwood stood the foreboding mansion, an imposing structure that had long been abandoned by its former occupants. It was said that the mansion was cursed, and that those who entered its decrepit halls never returned. The townsfolk dared not even approach it, for they believed that malevolent spirits inhabited its darkened rooms. But one fateful night, curiosity got the better of a young man named Jacob. He had grown up hearing the chilling tales of the foreboding mansion, and he couldn't resist the lure of the unknown. Armed with nothing but a dim flashlight and a trembling resolve, he set out to unravel the secrets that shrouded the mansion. As Jacob approached the mansion, the fog seemed to thicken, wrapping around him like an icy embrace. He hesitated at the imposing entrance, his heart pounding in his chest, but the thrill of the unknown pushed him forward. The front door creaked open with a spine-tingling groan, and he stepped into the darkness. Inside, the mansion was a maze of winding corridors, each one darker and more foreboding than the last. Jacob's flashlight barely pierced the gloom, casting eerie shadows that danced along the walls. He could hear faint whispers in the distance, like the murmurs of long-forgotten souls trapped within the mansion's walls. As he ventured deeper into the mansion, Jacob stumbled upon a grandiose library, its shelves lined with dusty tomes and ancient manuscripts. Among the books, one particular volume caught his attention. It was an ornate, leather-bound tome with a peculiar symbol etched onto its cover. With trembling hands, Jacob opened it, revealing pages filled with incantations and arcane rituals. Unbeknownst to Jacob, the book was a cursed grimoire, and as he leafed through its pages, he unwittingly unleashed a malevolent force that had been trapped within the mansion for centuries. The room grew colder, and the whispers around him grew louder, now forming sinister chants that echoed in his ears. Desperate to escape the encroaching darkness, Jacob fled the library, but the mansion seemed to shift and twist around him, its corridors rearranging themselves like a living, breathing entity. He was trapped, a helpless pawn in a nightmarish game. Hours turned into days, and Jacob's sanity began to fray. He encountered apparitions that tormented him with their haunting visages, and the mansion itself seemed to conspire against him, leading him further into its nightmarish depths. But just when Jacob had resigned himself to his grim fate, he stumbled upon a chamber unlike any other. In its center, a spectral figure awaited him, a woman with long, flowing hair and eyes that glowed with an otherworldly light. She spoke in a voice that was both ethereal and sorrowful. "You have released me from my eternal prison," the ghostly woman said, her voice carrying the weight of centuries. "But in doing so, you have sealed your own fate." Jacob, trembling with fear, pleaded for his life, but the woman's gaze was unforgiving. She revealed the truth of the mansion's curse. The spirits within were bound by a powerful spell, and only by sacrificing a living soul could they be set free. As the realization washed over him, Jacob knew there was no escape. The mansion's walls closed in around him, and the malevolent spirits closed in for their macabre ritual. In the end, the whispers of Blackwood would tell of a young man who ventured into the foreboding mansion, never to return. And so the curse of the foreboding mansion endured, claiming yet another victim, and the fog that rolled in every night remained, concealing the dark secrets of Blackwood for generations to come. But the story doesn't end there, for the town of Blackwood carried its own secrets. As the years passed, whispers grew louder, and a new generation of curious souls ventured into the mansion. Each time, the curse claimed another victim, its malevolent force growing stronger with each sacrifice. Rumors of the cursed grimoire spread, and a group of intrepid investigators sought to break the curse once and for all. Armed with knowledge and determination, they combed through the mansion's hidden chambers, deciphering the dark rituals within the accursed book. In a climactic showdown, they confronted the vengeful spirit that had ensnared Jacob, and with a powerful incantation, they bound the malevolent force back into the grimoire, sealing it shut with a final desperate chant. The mansion, no longer plagued by the curse, began to crumble, its darkness receding like a defeated shadow. Blackwood was finally free from the haunting horrors that had plagued it for centuries. Yet, as the investigators left the town, they couldn't shake the feeling that the malevolent force within the grimoire had not been vanquished entirely. They knew it was only a matter of time before the curse would seek a new vessel, a new victim to ensnare, and the cycle of horror would begin anew. And so, the town of Blackwood, once shrouded in fog and fear, remained forever haunted by the lingering spectre of its past, its secrets buried deep within the tangled woods, waiting for the next unsuspecting soul to stumble upon its dark history. Thanks for listening to this story. Put a like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new stories.